This is Daily Armenia, CivilNet's daily news digest. Here's what you need to know today. Scores of demonstrators continued to rally in Yerevan today, calling on Prime Minister Nikol Pashinyan to resign. Bagrat Galistanyan, the archbishop leading Armenia's growing anti-government protest movement, demanded a public meeting with the country's law enforcement chiefs after riot police yesterday attempted to stop the head of the Armenian Apostolic Church from entering a highly symbolic war memorial. Galistanyan and his supporters held an hours-long sit-in in front of the Interior Ministry building in central Yerevan today, waiting to meet with Vahe Ghazaryan, the minister, and Aram Hovhannisyan, the head of police. A spokesperson for Ghazaryan said the minister is willing to meet with the archbishop to discuss yesterday's incident, but only behind closed doors. Galistanyan rejected that offer. As of 4 p.m., the protesters had ended their sit-in without meeting with any officials. As Armenia marked First Republic Day yesterday, the country's top religious and political figures paid separate visits to the memorial at Sardarabad, a pivotal battle that is widely credited with halting the Turkish military advance into modern-day Armenia after World War I. Galistanyan and his followers stayed at the site overnight and into yesterday morning in an apparent attempt to disrupt Pashinyan's visit. The demonstrators, however, left around noon, with Pashinyan and other senior officials arriving later in the afternoon. In an address, the Prime Minister said he remained committed to taking steps to preserve and develop Armenia's statehood, identity, and values, and to build freedom, security, and prosperity. Pointedly, Pashinyan made no mention of Galistanyan or his protest movement. Then, Catholicos Garegin II, the church leader, arrived at the memorial, where he was initially prevented from entering by lines of riot police. After a brief altercation with law enforcement, he and other senior clergymen were allowed to enter and pray. Later yesterday evening, the Mother See of Holy Echmiadzin, the church's governing body, issued a statement slamming what it called the officers' reprehensible behavior and describing their actions as yet another example of the authorities' shameful and anti-national activities. Speaking to reporters today, Pashinyan defended the police's actions, blasting the church for what he characterized as taking steps to obstruct state ceremonial events. Over the last month, hundreds of Galistanyan supporters have been detained for taking part in acts of civil disobedience. Videos posted to social media appear to show numerous instances of police officers using disproportionate force to subdue protesters. In addition, Galistanyan has accused law enforcement of attempting to bug the hotel room in Yerevan where he is staying. As of today, the authorities have brought no criminal charges against any police officers. Meanwhile, Azerbaijani President Ilham Aliyev said today on a visit to Nagorno-Karabakh that he is following the latest developments in Armenia, calling the protesters revanchists who are trying again to make territorial claims against us. In other news, Armenia has indefinitely suspended broadcasts of Russia's Channel 1, a state-run television channel, citing unpaid debts Moscow reportedly owes Yerevan. Channel 1 has not fulfilled its contractual obligations, accumulating 2.5 months of debt. Broadcasts have been temporarily stopped until the full repayment of the debt, Mkhitar Hayrapetyan, Armenia's high-tech industry minister, told reporters today. He did not put a price on the sum of money owed. In 2020, Russia agreed to pay Armenia to broadcast its two main state-run television channels in the country. Earlier this year, Armenia blocked all broadcasts by Vladimir Solovyov, one of Russia's leading television presenters and propagandists, citing domestic hate speech regulations. Until now, all other Russian state television programs had remained accessible in Armenia. There was no immediate comment from the Kremlin on these latest developments. You can also check out the highlights of our latest interview with Marcus Ritter, the head of the European Union's monitoring mission in Armenia, who sat down with us last week to talk about border delimitation, the withdrawal of Russian troops from Armenia's border with Azerbaijan, and much more. You can find those remarks up now on our website or through the link in the video description below. And finally, the CivilNet number of the day is 1,437. That is the total number of people displaced from Nagorno-Karabakh who have since been granted Armenian citizenship, according to figures made public today by Arpina Sargsyan, Armenia's deputy interior minister. That is less than 2% of the total number of Armenians from Nagorno-Karabakh who have received temporary protection certificates, a form of refugee status. And as always, please follow CivilNet for the latest news and independent reporting from our contributors on the ground here in Armenia.